I had been having pain in my stomach, and it would be so bad that it would kind of put me to the floor.
Doctors couldn't find the source of Natalie Valcarcel's occasional but intense bouts of abdominal pain. In 2005, 2 months before her wedding, one of those attacks sent her to the ER, where an ultrasound revealed a 3-centimeter fibroid tumor on her uterus.
She assured me that women have this all the time and that it's not a big deal. So since she didn't worry about it, I didn't worry about it either.
But the tumor started causing more and more discomfort. So, months after her wedding to Paul, she went in for surgery to have it removed. 30 minutes later, the surgeon came out to tell Paul the tumor had grown from 3 centimeters to 15.
She showed me 2 photos, and it looked like the size of maybe like a cantaloupe. And she points to this little bump on this cantaloupe-looking tumor and says, "You see that little bump? That's actually her uterus." The tumor's completely encompassing the uterus. So she says there's just no way to be able to remove the tumor without having to remove the uterus.
They stopped the procedure, and the couple went home to discuss whether to go through with the hysterectomy. A few days later, her doctor called, insisting that it was her only option.
Don't hold on to any hope for having children. It is impossible. And this tumor needs to be removed. It's very dangerous. We just need to do this hysterectomy. Right when she told me that, I hung up and I was mad. I was angry. I didn't like that that was being taken away from me. I went to the Lord right away and I said, "God, what is your will in this? What do you want? What do you want to do?"
I told Natalie, I said, "You know, I can believe the Lord will take this tumor completely away. However he wants to do it, however he's gonna do it, you have to decide for yourself what you're able to believe for, and I'm gonna believe with you."
Natalie says God reminded her of Psalm 128, the blessing that was read at their wedding. She looked it up, and one verse stood out.
"Your wife will be a fruitful vine in the innermost parts of her home, and she will see her children around her table like olive plants." And then I was like, that is for me. And I held on to it, and I didn't let it go.
Natalie declined the hysterectomy. For the next 5 years, the couple tried to get pregnant as the tumor continued to grow. It got so large, people thought she was pregnant.
I would just say, "No, I'm not pregnant. It's a fibroid tumor." And they're just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And I said, "No, I know what I look like. I am believing for a miracle, and I'm waiting for a promise. God has promised me that I would have a child."
Meanwhile, doctors kept insisting she have the procedure, because now the mass was pressing into her organs and could cause kidney or heart failure. With the prayer and support of family and friends, Natalie and Paul constantly asked God for guidance.
I asked him specifically, "Do I do the hysterectomy or I don't?" And he said no. And every time I went to the Lord regarding it, he told me no. I had times where it was really hard, and I just went on my face before the Lord until I got peace back again. And when I got that peace, I was so confident that the Lord was in this.
It's not easy, it never is. When it's walking by faith and just really the Lord doing it through you, the less and less you really consider your abilities and just rely on his.
Then one Sunday at church, Natalie stopped to greet her pastor before taking her seat. Later in the service, he announced that God had revealed something to him.
He said, "This girl doesn't even know that I'm talking about her right now." And he says, "But when I shook her hand, the Lord said pregnant." And he turned to me and he said, "Natalie, this is you." And he says, "And the Lord says to you right now, nothing's impossible with him."
Then, in April 2011, while out with Paul on her birthday, Natalie believed the impossible had come true.
She's like, "You know, I think I want to go home. As a matter of fact, let's go stop by the Rite Aid and get a pregnancy test." And I'm like, "What?" Pregnancy test?
Just as Natalie suspected, The test was positive.
I was ecstatic. I was just like, I knew he would do, I knew he'd follow through.
But with the tumor putting Natalie and the baby at risk, she started seeing Dr. Douglas Montgomery, who specialized in high-risk pregnancies. He made sure the couple understood what those risks were.
We would lose the baby or have an extreme premature birth of the baby or have a medical complication of Natalie where we can't continue the pregnancy. Her life's in jeopardy, the baby's pre-viable, we need to deliver the baby to save Natalie's life.